Okay, so today we are going to do solved numericals of physics chapter 3 machines part A. Okay, so I hope you remember the formulae, all the formulae. Let's write the formulae once, right? And then it'll be easier for us to solve. Okay, so the formula for the first formula will be for mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage is equal to load upon effort. Velocity ratio is equal to distance traveled by effort upon distance traveled by load. That's the first two formulae. If mechanical advantage is greater than 1 and velocity ratio is greater than 1, that means we have a force multiplier. If mechanical advantage and velocity ratio both are equal to 1, that means we have a machine through which we can exert or apply force in a convenient direction. We can apply force in a convenient direction. And if mechanical advantage and velocity ratio both are smaller than 1, that means we have a speed multiplier. Right? Then there were relationships between mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, and efficiency. So efficiency is mechanical advantage upon velocity ratio multiplied by 100%. See, velocity ratio is always greater than or equal to 1. That's what we understood. No. We understood that mechanical advantage is always smaller than velocity ratio. Mechanical advantage is always smaller than velocity ratio, and that's why the efficiency is always smaller than 100% for actual machine, because we consider the weight of the movable parts, the friction between the movable parts, the strings are not perfectly elastic if there are any, right? So that was about efficiency. Then we understood something about levers, right? So class 1 lever could be, so they are of the design LFE. Fulcrum is in between, right? So load, fulcrum, effort. They could be force multiplier also, speed multiplier also, and they could be also used to change the direction of application of force to a convenient direction. Class 2 levers are always force multipliers, right? So in class 2 levers, the fulcrum is in the end, load is in the middle, and effort is in one end. It's always a force multiplier, right? Class 1 levers are basically uh, all purpose or versatile. They can be everything. Class 3 levers, in class 3 levers, the knife, right? So effort is in the middle, load is in one end, and fulcrum is at one end. FEL, LEF, and they are used to obtain gain in speed multipliers. So enough information we have regarding levers, regarding mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, their formulae. And so we are ready to solve these questions. Okay, let's do the first question. machine is driven by 100 kg mass. Driven by. What is driven by? Driven by means it is the load. 100 kg. That falls 8 meter in 4 seconds. So distance traveled by load is equal to 8 meter. And the time is 4 seconds. If it lifts a load of mass, hey, there is one mistake. A machine is driven by 100 kg mass. So that's an effort. Effort is what drives the machine. And it lifts a load. Lifts a load. Again, 500 kg is the load. 500 kg is the load. Load is 500 kg. Vertically upwards. Acceleration due to gravity is given 10 meter per second square. Calculate the force exerted by the falling mass. Okay, so force exerted by the falling mass is the force exerted by the effort, which is m into g, that is 100 into 10, which is 1000 newton. 1000 newton. This is the first answer, A. The second answer, B. The work done by the falling mass in its displacement by 8 meter. So work done by falling mass is work done by effort, which is mgh. So m into g we already know, it is 1000, and h is 8, that is the displacement. So the work done is 8000 joule. C, the power input to the machine. Okay, so power input is power given by the effort, which is work done by effort upon time. Work done by effort is 8000 joule and the time is 4 seconds. So power developed is 2000 watt. 2000 watt. The power output of the machine, if its efficiency is 60%. Okay, the formula for efficiency is, if you remember, see, efficiency will always be less than 100%. So in the numerator, we will have power output. In the denominator, we'll have power input into 100%. So efficiency is 60%, right? 60 upon 100 is equal to power output is equal to, is equal to power output. Power output is not known. Power input is 2000. So if we solve this, we'll get 60 multiplied by 2000 upon 100, which is basically power output, which is 1200 watts. 1200 watts. That's the power output. And the work done by the machine in 4 seconds. So work done is equal to power output multiplied by time, right? So work output or work done by the machine. Power output is 1200 and time is 4. So 4800 joules. That is the work done by the machine. 4800 joules. Let's check all the answers. The first answer is 1000 Newton. The force exerted by falling mass. Work done by falling mass, the answer is 8000 joule. Absolutely correct. The third answer is 2000 watt. That is power input to the machine. Power output is 1200 watts. Absolutely correct. And the fifth answer is not given over here, but we have got it as 4800 joule, and that is absolutely perfect. Okay, so now you understand how to solve these kind of questions. These are actually little tricky questions because the concept from work, energy, and power is also applied over here, as well as the concepts which we have learned in this particular chapter, that is mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, and all those sort of concepts. Okay, next. Calculate the ideal mechanical advantage of a lever in which effort arm is 60 centimeter and load arm is 4 centimeter. Okay, so mechanical advantage, the formula for mechanical advantage is load upon effort, but there is one more formula for mechanical advantage, that is effort arm upon load arm. Okay, effort arm upon load arm. Effort arm is 60 centimeter and load arm is 4 centimeter. Now see, centimeter will cut, 16 by 4 is 15. Mechanical advantage has got no units because it's a ratio of two similar quantities. Let's move. Okay, draw a simple diagram of fire tongs and mark on it fire tongs. Okay, fire tongs, they look like this. Okay, mark on it the fulcrum F. This is the fulcrum F. And the points of application of load and effort. So this is basically effort and this is the load. So effort is in the middle, load is in one end and fulcrum in one end. Name the class of lever. See, this one is not a force multiplier, because for the force multiplier, load has to be in the middle. So this is a uh, class 3 lever which acts as a speed multiplier. By small movement of effort, large movement of load occurs. Right? Fire tongs are used for picking up coal pieces. Okay, they are not, they cannot lift heavy pieces. Okay, so this is a class 3 lever which is a speed multiplier. If load arm is 15 centimeter, okay, load arm is equal to 15 centimeter and effort arm is 5 centimeter. What is its mechanical advantage? See, mechanical advantage is load arm upon effort arm. I'm sorry, it is effort arm upon load arm. My mistake. Effort arm upon load arm. We did not note these formulae, right? Yeah. Mechanical advantage is also effort arm upon load arm. Yes. Okay. And they are saying that effort arm is 5 centimeter and load arm is 15 centimeter. So what is the mechanical advantage? 1 by 3. Right? So it's a speed multiplier because mechanical advantage is smaller than 1. It is proved now. Okay, next question. A crowbar is 2 meter long. A crowbar. Okay, a crowbar looks like this. Okay, and it is 2 meter long. 2 meter is its length. A crowbar is 2 meter long, pivoted about a point 10 centimeter from its tip. So this is the fulcrum. This here is the fulcrum. Pivoted about a point 10 centimeter from its tip. Okay, this is the tip. And here will be the load. And the distance is between load and fulcrum 10 centimeter. Calculate the mechanical advantage of the crowbar. Okay, now see, the distance between effort is over here, fulcrum is in middle and load is at the tip. So this is a class 1 lever which is basically a force multiplier. Why I'm saying it's a force multiplier? Because the load arm is greater than the effort arm. Is it clear? The load arm is greater than the, sorry, load arm is smaller than the effort arm. What I'm writing. Okay. So we can say that it is a class 1 lever in which effort arm is greater than load arm. Therefore, it is a force multiplier. Crowbar is a force multiplier. It is uh, used to lift heavy loads, right? Okay. So what is the effort arm? Effort arm is equal to 2 meter minus 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter is 10 divided by 100 or 0.1 meter, which is 1.9 meter. Effort arm is 1.9 meter and load arm is 10 centimeter, that is 0.1 meter. Okay. Calculate the mechanical advantage of crowbar. So mechanical advantage is effort arm upon load arm, which is 1.9 upon 0.1, which is 19. Mechanical advantage is 19. What is the least force which must be applied at the other end to displace a load of 100 kg? Okay, so now we know that load, so this is the first one, this is the second one. We know that the load is 100 kg. What is the least force, that is the effort which must be applied? And we know that the mechanical advantage is 19. Therefore, mechanical advantage is equal to load upon effort. So 19 is equal to 100 upon effort. So effort is equal to 100 divided by 19, which is 5.26 kgf, which is the correct answer, right? So this is how you solve this question. Next question here. So the questions are longer, they look more complicated, right, than the normal questions. That's why I'm showing this, all the solved examples to you, so that you can easily solve the numericals from the exercise. So please study these numericals properly and solve it also if you can with me. A uniform seesaw 5 meter long is supported at its center. So there is this seesaw which is 5 meter long and it is supported at its center. 5 meter is the total length of the seesaw. A boy weighing 40 kgf sits at a distance of 1 meter from the center of the seesaw. Okay. So a boy weighing 40 kgf sits at a distance of 1 meter from the center. Okay. To which class of lever does this belong? Of course, it belongs to class 1 because here is the load, here is the effort, in between there is fulcrum. Find where a girl of weight 20 kgf must sit on the seesaw to balance the weight of the boy. So this is similar question like the first chapter, that is moment of force. So a girl must sit on the other side of seesaw, somewhere over here. Okay, a girl of mass 20 kgf must sit on the other side, but how far? So we don't know this distance, so let the distance be x. Okay, so according to principle of moments for bodies in equilibrium, sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. Sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. So what is the sum of anti-clockwise moments? That is 40 kgf multiplied by 1 meter, which is equal to 20 kgf multiplied by x meter. So 40 divided by 20 is equal to x. Therefore, x is equal to 2 meter. Okay, x is equal to 2 meter. So according to principle of moments for bodies in equilibrium, if we apply this concept here, we get that the girl of mass 20 kgf must sit at a distance of 2 meter from the point of fulcrum at the middle on the other side of the seesaw from where the boy is sitting, right? So that's our answer. Let's go to the next question. A cook uses the fire tongs of length 28 centimeter. Okay, so let's draw a fire tong. Okay, whose length is 28 centimeter. To lift a piece of burning coal of mass 250 grams. So there is a piece of coal whose mass is equal to 250 grams. So this is nothing but the load. Okay, this is the fulcrum, this is the load, and effort will be in the middle. So this is a class 3 lever. If he applies an effort at a distance of 7 centimeter from the fulcrum, so effort is applied at a distance of 7 centimeter from the fulcrum. Find the effort and take g as 10 meter per second square. Okay, so why they have given the value of g? So let's first find the value of load. So see, load is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity of the burning coal. Okay, so the mass is 250 grams, which I will convert it into kg. 250 divided by 1000 multiplied by 10. Okay, so if you cut this, basically you're going to get 2.5 Newton. Okay, so we got the load in Newton. Now we can find it. So now mechanical advantage is equal to load upon effort, or effort arm upon load arm. Okay, so we are going to solve this ratio. So what is the load? 2.5 Newton. What is the effort? We don't know. What is the effort arm? Effort arm is 7 centimeter. Let's write it as 7. And what is the load arm? See, the total length is 28 centimeter. Effort arm is 7. So 28 minus 28 minus 7 is 21, right? So 7 3s are 21, and I don't think we are getting the answer. 28 minus 7 is 21, which is, hey, sorry, it's my mistake, absolutely my mistake. Why? I'll tell you. Because the load arm is 28 centimeter. So here you have to write 28. The distance from load to fulcrum is 28 centimeter. So 7 4s are 28, and effort is 2.5 multiplied by 4, which is 10 Newton. 10 Newton is the effort. Right? Our answer is absolutely correct. Let's go ahead. The diagram below shows a lever in use. To which class of lever does it belong? Give one example of this class. Okay, so this is basically a class 1 lever. Give one example of this class. There are many examples of this class. You can say fulcrum is in middle, right? So scissor, or you can say seesaw, or a spoon used to open a lid, or you can say a crowbar. These are all the examples. How will the mechanical advantage of the lever change if the load is shifted towards the fulcrum? See, if the load is without changing its dimension, so if the load is shifted towards the fulcrum, then the load arm becomes smaller and the effort arm becomes greater. In this case, the mechanical advantage will become greater and the lever will become more stronger force multiplier, right? So mechanical advantage will increase. That is the answer. Okay, in figure 3.11, what figure is this? Yeah, it's the same figure. Let's take it up and check here. So they are saying that in 8th question, state the principle of moments as applied to the lever in figure 3.11. Okay, so in figure 3.11, we know that load is 18 kgf. We don't know the effort. And do we know that the distance? No. And calculate the mechanical advantage if AB is 2 meter, AB is 2 meter and FA is 20 centimeter. So this is 20 centimeter and AB is 2 meter. Okay, 2 meter. So this is basically 180 centimeter. Okay. Calculate the effort needed to lift the load. Okay. So mechanical advantage is basically effort arm upon load arm. Here the effort arm is 180 centimeter and load arm is 20 centimeter, right? So the mechanical advantage is 9. Also mechanical advantage is load upon effort, and mechanical advantage they are saying, sorry, we got it as 9 and load is 18 kgf. The effort is needed to be found. So effort is equal to 18 by 9, which is 2 kgf. 2 kgf will be the effort. So both the answers are correct. Let's go to the next question. Okay, a nut which can be broken by applying a force of 40 kgf. Okay, so applying a force, that is effort, 40 kgf. By using, is broken by using a nutcracker having a handle 20 centimeter long. So do you see how a nutcracker looks like? A nutcracker has some mechanism like this and like this, something like this. Okay, in between, if you open, you can put a nut over here. Okay, there is a blade here. Okay, so they are saying that, see, the fulcrum is in the end, load is in the middle, effort is over here. This is an example, classic example of a class 2 lever, which is a force multiplier. So they are saying that it is broken by a nutcracker having a handle 20 centimeter long. So handle is 20 centimeter long. That is the distance, that is the effort arm. Effort arm is equal to 20 centimeter. By placing it at a distance of 2 centimeter from the hinge, so they are placing the nut, it means the nut 2 centimeter from the hinge, that is the load arm, that is 2 centimeter. Okay, calculate the minimum force required to break the nut. Minimum force, now this is not the minimum force. A nut which can be broken by applying a force of 40 kgf is broken by using a nutcracker जिसका handle length दिया है, load arm दिया है. Calculate the minimum force needed to break the nut. So this is not effort here. This is, you know, this is one confusion they are creating. This is the load. So this is the effort required to break the nut without using any simple machine. That is the load. Okay, chalo, mechanical advantage will find first, which is effort arm upon load arm, which is 20 by 2, which is 10. Mechanical advantage we got. Now mechanical advantage is equal to load upon effort, So 10 is equal to load is 40 upon effort is E. So effort is equal to 40 by 10, which is 4 kgf. So if you apply a effort, minimum effort of 4 kgf on this nutcracker over here, you'll be able to break the nut, which actually requires 40 kgf of effort to required to be broken. 10th question. खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है यार, क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या है, इतना लंबा क्यों है एक्सरसाइज। सॉल्व एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है, देखते हैं। अ मैन ओपन्स अ नट बाय अप्लाइंग अ फोर्स ऑफ 150 न्यूटन। अ मैन ओपन्स अ नट बाय अप्लाइंग अ फोर्स ऑफ 150 न्यूटन। अप्लाइंग अ फोर्स, अच्छा मतलब एफर्ट दिया है 150 न्यूटन, यूजिंग अ लेवर हैंडल ऑफ 0.4 मीटर। अच्छा लेवर हैंडल मतलब ये तो एफर्ट आर्म हो गया, 0.4 मीटर। व्हाट शुड बी द लेंथ ऑफ हैंडल, अच्छा मतलब एफर्ट आर्म कितना होना चाहिए इफ ही वांट्स टू ओपन इट बाय अप्लाइंग अ फोर्स ऑफ 60 न्यूटन। अच्छा तो अगर उसको एफर्ट सिर्फ 60 न्यूटन देना है तो एफर्ट आर्म कितना होना चाहिए। ठीक है, सो हमारे पास सिर्फ एफर्ट और एफर्ट आर्म। देखो, वी नो वन थिंग दैट मैकेनिकल एडवांटेज इज load upon effort or effort arm upon load arm. So basically we can say that load into load arm is equal to effort into effort arm. ठीक है, effort कितना है 150 न्यूटन, effort arm कितना है 0.4 मीटर। सो 15 फोर जा कितना हो जाएगा 60। ये क्या मिला पता है हमें, द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ लोड इनटू लोड आर्म। सो बेसिकली एफर्ट इनटू एफर्ट आर्म की वैल्यू कितनी होनी चाहिए 60। अब मेरा न्यू एफर्ट कितना है 60 न्यूटन, और एफर्ट आर्म कितना है नहीं पता है, ठीक है। ओ सॉरी, एफर्ट इनटू एफर्ट आर्म तो 60 है। सो एफर्ट आर्म इज इक्वल टू 60 बाई 60 विच इज नथिंग बट 1 मीटर। सो ये रिलेशनशिप यूज करके आई सॉल्व इट, राइट। आई होप नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड कैसे करना है इसको। ओके, सो पार्ट ए के सारे न्यूमेरिकल्स 10 न्यूमेरिकल्स है, सॉल्व एग्जांपल्स, all of them we did and I hope you understood them। क्या कौन से फॉर्मूला यूज किए वो मेन था कि कौन से फॉर्मूले यूज करने हैं, which is basically which could be little confusing। So watch this video, try to understand the concept, the method of solving these examples, and then try the numericals। I hope you will definitely get the numericals, and so we can move to the second part of the chapter very soon, right? So see you in the next video. Bye bye.